Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another Orly ColorPass unboxing and review. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when I first saw this, I saw the art style and I said, what the hell is that? I'd never heard of this in terms of art. I'd seen it applied to like architecture and things like that, but futurism, I've never heard of it in the scope of the art world. I did not realize it was an art movement. Whereas with the past three color passes, I had some familiarity with each of the art styles. And while I am by no means an art expert, you know, I know the basics, I'm good, I got it. And so when I Googled this art style, because I was just like, what are you? I didn't recognize any of the artists either. So little out of my depths here when it comes to talking about this as it applies to the art style, but nail polish is nail polish is nail polish, and I can talk about that for hours as showcased by my channel. So we have a lot to talk about. And similarly to last holiday's color pass, I do think this one's going to be a little bit divisive, so let's get into it. As per usual, I'm going to unbox it, show you the live swatches, show you the full hand swatches, and then we will talk to great lengths at the end about all the bonus extras, my thoughts, my favorites, blah, blah, blah. Before I get into all that, let me explain what Orly ColorPass is for those of you who may not know. Orly ColorPass is a quarterly box that you can either subscribe to or you can just purchase one-offs if you so choose. The full year subscription, which is what I do, costs $119 a year, and you get all 4 boxes automatically sent to you over the course of the year. Now, they do have deals every now and again where you can save like 10 bucks. I saw one recently, so it would only cost you $109 for the yearly subscription. But if you do choose to purchase quarterly, like as you go, and that way maybe you want to skip a box here or there, which you cannot do with the subscription format, the individual boxes themselves do cost $36. And in those boxes, you get the full collection, so 6 polishes, plus usually 2 to 3 bonus extras. Sometimes they give you exclusive coupons, and if you are subscribed, you will sometimes get like exclusive access to stuff. That's something I'm going to talk about in another video. I'm going to just talk about ColorPass as a whole. Is it worth it, the whole experience? But we're going to do that sometime in the future. Now, the benefit of the yearly subscription is you do save $25 versus if you had just bought each box individually throughout the year. The big downside is you don't know what you're getting because they just auto ship it to you and you can't skip a box. So if you are a little bit more precise with your collection, you may not want every single collection. I would suggest going for the individual quarterly purchases rather than the full year purchase. But you got to do what's best for your wallet and your collection. The reason why I like to do the full year subscription is I'm going to get them anyways. I like doing these. I love Orly as a brand. I like their polishes. I like unboxing them here on my channel. And if I do it the yearly way versus if I had bought these in store at MSRP, I'm saving like $109 right off the bat. So that is just a big amount of savings for me that I could spend on other nail polish. So yeah, you just kind of got to look at that and like weigh your options and your decisions and what's best for you. But with all that said, let's get into the swatches and then we will talk more at the end. So the first thing we see when we crack into our color pass is the info card. On the back of this, it just shows all the colors, all the bonus items, a nail art tutorial, and a little blurb. Then we have the little tote bag. This unfolds into what I would say is your standard size tote bag, and it seems like it's a pretty durable material. We also have a cuticle oil. You get a full ounce. This is their Cuticle Oil Plus, and it smells like oranges. And then finally, we have the full 6-piece Futurism collection, and these are all metallics in some way, shape, or form. First, we have Fluidity, and this one is the most different from the other 5. It is more of a foil metallic than a shimmer metallic like the other 5 are, and you can see on application, the base seems to be clear and it's filled with like silver metallic flakes, and it does have these sparser blue metallic flakes as well. So this kind of leans more as like a gunmetal or a blue steel type color. You can see it more in the bottle shot than you can in direct lighting. And this is probably the least streaky of all of the polishes because of the nature of the finish. You can see here, no visible nail line. Next is the Shimmer Metallics, and we're starting with Ascension, which is a blue base, like a dusty blue base with a bright blue shimmer running through it. All of these have similar formulas, but some play better than others when it comes to brush strokes, and they are all fairly thin on that first coat, but they do build up fairly well. You can see with this blue, some brush strokes are there, but they are very easy to control. There's not a lot of visible texture, and as long as you pull the brush straight, you won't have too much of a problem, and when it dries down, I don't really see any of those brush strokes remaining. Here we have the green, and it's the same kind of thing, a dustier green base with a brighter green shimmer going through it. And this one, again, very thin on that first coat. It almost leaves the base looking a little bit brown in some of the patchier places. But then once we layer on that second coat, I feel like it does build up. However, this one is way streakier than the blue. On that initial application, I found it harder to control the narrative with the brush strokes, and I do think you can see a few when it dries down. Here we have Dynamism, and this one is kind of like a rusty orangey red with a pink shock of shimmer running through it. This is very streaky for me on application. I also found that this color, this is just a personal thing, this color looks really weird on me. And when you like try to go back over itself, there's a lot more texture coming through this one. I got a lot of weird bubbling with it for some reason, and this is the only one. But the brush strokes do mostly go away. I feel like you can still kind of see them. Here we have the first of two purples in this collection. This one is called Forward Momentum and is the darker purple, and it has kind of a magenta shimmer running through it. This one, again, a little bit thin on that first coat, a little bit more texture in this one, but I think that you can see more texture on the brush neck than you can on the actual nail. I didn't have as much issues with it as Dynamism, but when you try to like overlap itself, sometimes you do see some of that coming through. This one's very shimmery and very easy to control the brush strokes, and you can see on the full hand swatch, really no brush strokes are showing through, just a little texture. Finally, we have Industrial Playground. This is like a lavender, kind of a lilac, and it is a very light purple with a very vibrant purpley blue shimmer running through it. You can see a lot of texture on the brush itself and even some playing up on the nail. I did find that 3 of the shades had this, the other 3 did not, despite the way the marketing looked. But it does pull on itself just a little bit, and you can see a lot of those brush strokes while you're painting the nail, but again, they do go away when it dries down. What did you guys think of the collection? When I first saw the marketing, like the amount of texture in all these polish strips, it really caught me off guard because it looked a little bit lizardy to me. Like some of these really looked like lizard skin to me, and it's cool, but it's weird. It also, the color scheme kind of brought me back to some old Urban Decay makeup collections. If you're familiar with makeup, Urban Decay, I feel like uses these colors, or used to use these types of colors quite a lot. I don't know, so it really took me there as well. And when I unboxed this, my boyfriend took it from my hands and he said, wow, this looks so Y2K. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. You know, if you lived through that time period, you'll remember like the sheer amount of chrome and metallics that had just overtaken our lives. So I guess I can really see it. Now, over the course of the year, Orly has done all art themed collections, and I've always been talking about, well, does it fit the theme? Does it fit the art style? And like I said at the top, it's really hard for me to say in this specific case because I had never heard of Futurism as an art movement. So I spent a lot of time trying to look at it, and I gotta say, I hate it. I don't like the Futurism art style. I looked at it and I was like, this looks like those, you remember those 3D trick eye books that you had to like look at like the perfect angle? I feel like, I don't know why, it just reminded me of those a lot. And it was just super, I don't know. It's just really hard to describe. It wasn't eye-catching for me. I think the color scheme is totally in alignment when I looked at a lot of the paintings or like the art that came up versus these colors. They are a little bit grungy or a little bit on the darker side in a lot of those paintings, and you know, they are in the collection as well. So I guess they nailed it from that aspect. But for me personally, when I hear the word futurism, and this goes out to like the 12 Michigan viewers that I have, there's this museum that we have over here called the Henry Ford Museum, and they have this thing called the Dymaxion House, I think it's called. And it's just this huge, like, aluminum round house that people were like, this is the house of the future, and everything was really metallic and like chromy and aluminum, and that's what I think of when I think of futurism. And honestly, this aligns with that thought. So my version of futurism definitely aligns with the Orly collection. Yeah, the Dymaxion House is like what we all thought the future was gonna be, you know, all this chrome and metallic, and at that time what we thought was like sleek and you know, edgy. But instead it's just bleak and scary and filled with me paying my student loans until the day I die. So I don't know, maybe I would have preferred a Dymaxion future. But yeah, I mean, I would say the colors match well enough, and I guess the weird metallic finish kind of matches too. As far as the finish goes, just to touch on that, there is definitely some streakiness, some like visual texture, not physical texture like Azoya's Pixie Dust, but when you look at it, it does have some of that like textured appearance to it, but not nearly as bad as what it looks like in the marketing photos. Like the way that they display it here, I don't think it looks like that at all. When it's on the nail, it's mostly just streaky, and not all of them are as streaky as others, which you saw showcased in my swatch photos. I think for me, the saving grace of these polishes personally was how shifty they were under the light. Like the two purples were quite shifty. I find the blue to be pretty shifty. The green is a little bit, but I feel like the shimmer running through it is a little bit too similar to the base color. This one, the silvery one, it's not so much shifty as it just has like a bluish hue that kind of, you can kind of see in some lights. And then this one, I just don't like this one. I'm sorry. It's not my favorite. I don't have a problem with it as far as the polish itself. I just don't like the color, and that is completely subjective. That is just a me thing. My favorite, though, was really surprising to me because I usually hate this color. These like really frosty pale lavenders, I don't like them. This one's called Industrial Playground, but there's something about the shimmer. It's like a very pretty purple shimmer running through it. It looks more icy on camera than it's appearing in real life. This one was definitely my favorite, and I was shocked by that. And then quickly followed up by the blue, which is called Ascension. But yeah, those are my two favorites, but I will say in this case, favorite is kind of a strong word. You know, I don't think that, especially with this marketing, I would have picked any of these up independently if it wasn't already just being like rolled into my color pass. I think that I would have had to see quite a few videos to really convince myself to pick some up. Now that I have them, I'm not like upset about it, but I also just love having nail polish. So that's something you got to take into account. I like having nail polish and having these options, but would I have spent my own money on this collection willingly? No, absolutely not. And I got to be honest with you guys, like, even that purple that I like, even that blue that I like, would I have bought those? No, I don't think so. I don't think I can say that I would have, honestly. And of course, the last thing before I let you guys go, let's talk about the bonus extras that came in the box this month. So first we got this cuticle oil. It's the Orly Cuticle Oil Plus, which, what is the plus? I don't know. But the first question I had for myself was like, how does this compare to the argan oil, which they sent us like maybe a year or two ago at this point in Color Pass, that has like a little glass like eyedropper thing. I feel like they're pretty much the same consistency. The new one, it smells so lightly to me of oranges, but in a good way. I don't think that it's a overpowering scent, whereas the argan oil just has a very clean, more natural scent. No like kind of added scents to that one, I believe. I like the applicator on the argan oil, the older one, more in theory because I really like the dropper thing. It makes me feel like a mad scientist. The only problem is you can't screw the cap down all the way because the length of the dropper is too long for the bottle, and it will push down on the bottom of the bottle and it will push the rubber cap up, therefore breaking the seal and making it very, very spillable. Whereas this one, it's just a regular dropper bottle, just a easy dropper thing. And so the application is quite easy. This is a whole ounce, and I think this is like the perfect little add-on for a nail polish subscription box. You can't ever go wrong with more cuticle oil. They also sent a little reusable bag. I think this is going to be an absolute love or hate item. Last year around holiday, they sent a hair clip, and I was very much like, I hate it. Why would you put this in here? That's so dumb. It's not even a nail item. And this year I'm going to sound really hypocritical, but I love this. I love a reusable tote bag. I keep them in my truck because I always put too much junk in my car, and then I have a hard time carrying all of it in. I used to think reusable tote bags were super embarrassing, and then when I moved to Japan, you had to pay in a lot of grocery stores. You had to pay for the plastic bags, and it was literally like the equivalent of a nickel. But I was like, I don't want to pay for a bag that I then have to recycle into a specific recycling bin. So I started carrying these with me everywhere, and now it's just like a diehard habit, and it's great for the environment, I guess, isn't it? I hope so. That's what I've been told. But yeah, so I'm a huge hypocrite, and I do love this non-nail related item in this nail box. I mean, it's nail adjacent. It's got pictures of nail polish, but it's super cute. I'm gonna keep it in my truck, but I can totally understand why somebody would not like this item. But as for me, I'm sticking it with my reusable bag collection. So yeah, overall thoughts, I was fully prepared to just hate this box. Like, I saw spoilers ahead of time. I knew what we were getting, and I was just like, I'm not loving it. And when I get the box in my hands, I was like, still don't love it. And then when I swatched it, I was like, okay, it's tolerable. But like I said, you know, had it been a conscious decision, if this wasn't a kind of blind subscription box, would I have picked any of these up? I really, really, truly don't think so. I did like the extras though. Got myself a bag, got myself even more cuticle oil. These are nice things to have. And who knows, my tastes, they fluctuate all over the place. So maybe someday soon I'll be back on the metallics train, because I was like 5 years ago, I loved everything metallic. And so who knows, maybe I'll be on it again. But for now, I don't hate this collection, but it just wasn't my absolute favorite. And that is from the subjective point of view of, I just don't prefer this finish, and these colors weren't my favorite. However, overall, the quality was there. It's typical Orly quality, so nothing to worry about. If you do like these colors, if you do like these finishes, I would say that this is definitely worth it for you to pick up. But for real, like, why would you market it like this? This is the worst looking. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. It does look cool, I guess, but on the nail, I know that's going to translate to streaks on the nail. So why would you market it like this? But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts were. I would love to know, you know, was this really divisive for you? Did you really love it? Did you really hate it? Are most people on one side or the other? Or is it kind of like last year's holiday collection where it was pretty much a even split 50-50? I had a lot of people in my comments saying that they really loved that collection, and I really didn't. And I had a lot of people who were kind of in the same boat as me. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And if you are not a ColorPass subscriber, but you're thinking of subscribing, you know, let me know what is keeping you back from that. And if you have any specific questions about ColorPass, let me know, because I do want to make just a really kind of fully rounded video of like what it's like to have been subscribed to ColorPass, because I am now going into my 3rd year, and I feel like I have a really good idea of like the really high ends of it and kind of like the lower ends of it. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.